Hello, family. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy E, the Dividend Passport Bro, back with another video. I'd like to say thanks, guys, for all of the new subscribers. Thank you for liking and sharing the content. Guys, remember to like the video. If you watch the video, if you like the video, click the like button. The more you click the like button, the more the video gets sent out to other people. And we can get more people watching the content and we can get more people to the channel. Okay, guys? All right. So over here, you know what we do. We talk about generating worth, growing your financial portfolio, retiring early, all that good stuff. And this is not financial advice. Okay, as always, I'm just a 52-year-old man who talk about my portfolio and my portfolio alone. Okay. So guys, today is like what we talk about any and everything, right? Um, this is one of my favorite days because I don't have to really pay attention to what's going on in my portfolio. I can just yap about whatever, right? And guys, so today, um, what I wanted to talk about was some of the stuff I talked about yesterday in the portfolio. You know, when you decide you want to invest, it took me 3 months after I found dividend investing to decide to invest, right? I think it's about 3 months, 2 or 3 months. And during that time, right, I was looking at all the videos I could find online about dividend investing and the best way to invest, right? And of course, most people invest in VYM, SHD, all that good stuff. And of course, when you look at the amount of money that you have to put into those positions, right, to get, you know, 50, $60,000 a year in income, we're talking about a couple of $1 million, right? Now, fast forward to today, right? You can have, $100,000 portfolio, right? A mixture of high yield and low yield that will generate you 60K plus $1,000 a year, right? And for most people, that's their entire income, right? And with the high yield and lower yield mixture, you can have, like I say, I would prefer to have 30 positions that is paying me $100, right, a month, than have 5 positions that pay me $100 a month. Now you'll be like, oh, Edwin, but why? Because my stuff is balanced out over 30 positions, right? It's like having one unit apartment, right? That have 30. Uh, well, it's like having an apartment that have 30 units, right? That generate $3,000 a month, and you have one apartment, one house that generate $3,000 a month. So when your one tenant leave, right, now you have zero income coming in. Okay, but if you have 30 apartments, it might not be a lot of money, right? $100 a month. But if one person leave, you just down $2,900. So even if you lose 5 tenants, you still have $2,500 coming in every month, right? That's the best way I can describe it. That's why I tell you guys, when you invest in high yield, make sure you have positions like SHD, VYM, the Dividend Aristocrats, Dividend Kings, and you don't have to invest in all ETFs. You can invest, make sure stocks, right? Because some of the ETFs pay quarterly, they don't pay monthly. So you need stuff that pay monthly, right? So you're gonna go to a mid yield position, some that paying 7, 8%, 9%, 10% in some cases, right? So you have to balance those out in a way that you have 30 of those bad boys, right, that paying dividend, of course, and some of them will pay more than the others. So if you have one that paying 3%, if you can get that to $100, and you have one that's paying, let's say 7, 8%, 9%, and you can get that to $300, guess what? Now you got more money coming in every month. I'm not just saying, oh, well, get it to $100 and that's it. No, if they're paying 7%, 8%, 9%, right? You can get 3 times as much as you would get with the same investment as you would get something that paid 3%. So in that case, it doesn't make a difference, right? You got the same amount of money, they're giving you more money. It's a no-brainer, right? And when that money gets to where you're like, okay, well, this guy gave me 500, I can put some money in my other stuff to bring that up. You don't have to do it all at the same time, but you can balance it out to where you're investing $500 across the board, right? And when you're using the high yield, of course, you see that money right away, right? You can put in $500, and in the next month, right, you're going to see $10, $20, $30 coming in to $100 coming in for that month, the following month, depending on what you buy, right? So you see that you're like, oh, okay, I can do this. But there's risk involved with every investment that you put your money into. What is extreme high yields, I call them, or the low yield, right? There's time where those companies, they fall out of the dividend kings and the dividend aristocrats numbers, right? There's time where they fall out of that because for whatever reason, the financials not balanced, right? It happened to Verizon a few years back, right? I'm not sure if that same thing happened to AT&T. I'm trying to remember. There's some other companies that came out of that listing. Okay, you can check it. I'm just going on top of my head right now. All right, but we still invest in AT&T. We still invest in Verizon because they're paying, higher yield, and that's a risk involved in that, right? But that's a choice you got to make on your own for your portfolio, right? Just use me as a guy. Use me as the dummy that taking all of the risk, right? What I pass or fail, whether I'm successful. You guys can see that and say, okay, Edwin did this, he made a mistake. All right, I don't want to make that same mistake, so let me do this, right? I'm not saying, hey, just investing high yield. I'm not saying that because you see my portfolio. I have over 100 something positions in one portfolio, and I want to do the same thing with the rest of my portfolio because that makes me feel comfortable. That's helped me sleep better at night, right? That's the reason why I do what I do, because at some point, no matter how much of a risk taker you are, I'm in this to make money. I'm not in this to lose money, right? So at some point, yes, we're gonna take some losses, but this is a marathon. It's not a sprint, right? The first person get there, okay, you're doing good. No, this is a long-term process. 10, 15, 20, 30 years that I can pass down to my kids because they're going to be around and see what dad is doing. Dad is doing this. He doing what he want to do. I really don't have to have a job. I can go to school. I can learn more about this stuff, right? And then when I get old enough, 16, 17 years old, as soon as I get to that age, I'm like, okay, this is what we need to do. We need to build that portfolio, right? So we're building that portfolio for them. So money is not an issue. I got girls. So of course, you don't want your kids to be like influenced by money, what other people throwing money at them, especially when you have girls. No, you want them to be independent, right? But still need somebody, but not need them because they need them for money, right? They need them because they love them, they want to grow with them, that kind of stuff. So those are the kind of things that I'm making sure my girls see, right? They see that daddy is very supportive of what we do, no matter what. But I always tell them, I say, look, my daughter's like, Daddy, I want to be a lawyer. Okay, yeah. Why? Because I love it. Okay, why you like it? Because I like it when I did this stuff in school. I like doing this. Da, 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 da. So I asked her a simple question. What happened? Will you work for free? And she's like, what you mean? And she's like, yeah, I'll do it for free. I said, so you will go to law school, you go to college right now, 100,000 in 4 years, right? Plus. And then after that, you go to law school for another, I don't know how many years it takes to finish 2 or 3 years, right? So you go to school for all your life, and then you go to school for another 7 years in college, right? Or 6 years, however long it takes, to get a law degree. Spend over a couple of $100,000 to get a law degree. I said, but you'll be happy to make no money. And then she looked up like that, and then she laughed. I was like, what's funny? No, Daddy, I didn't think about it that way. Right, because for kids, children, as they grow older, they don't understand the value of money. They don't understand the value of time. When you get older, you appreciate time more because you have all of the stuff you've done in the past, right? The time you have left, you can see like, okay, well, maybe I can live another 20 years. Maybe I can live another 40 years. And depending on how you take care of yourself, but other stuff happens, life happens, right? You can be in an accident. Somebody can, unalive you for whatever reason. And you could be in the wrong place at the wrong time. All of these different things can happen, disaster. So you can't really come say, okay, well, I'm going to be here for 20 years. I'm going to be here for 40 years, right? I'm 52 now. Yeah, if I get to 100, 110, there are people in my family that live long past that, right? That's healthy. And then the people in my family that have high blood pressure, diabetes, but they still live 90 something years old, right? So the chances of me living a long life until I'm in my 90s and hundreds, there's a possibility. But then the chances that not happen, there's a possibility too because life happens no matter where you are. Okay, guys, so we need to prepare our kids, right? Making them understand the value of money because, no matter how poor you are, well, I take that back. At some point, your kids always thinks that you are the richest person on this planet because they don't know any better, right? Until when they get to some point, they realize like, oof, mom and daddy got nothing. We struggling. But at some point, they would get that. But when they're 5, 6, 7 years old, at some point, the kids don't pay attention to that stuff, right? They got the video games, they got the bicycle, they got the TVs, they got all this little stuff that they need. And for them, they have everything. They're rich. They eat whenever they want to. They don't go hungry. Those things, they're good. But for us, I'm thinking about the future. And, I spent a lot of time in South America the past 7 years, right? And when I talk to people, even men, not just the women, even men, they're not thinking about the future. They're thinking about tomorrow. They're not even thinking about tomorrow. Most cases, they're thinking about today, like right now, right? What I'm going to eat today, what we're going to do today, and that's it. If you ask a woman in South America, where you see yourself in 5 years, she can look at you like, I'm going to be living. That's it. They don't have that mindset, right? Of, I need to do this. Now, there might be some of them, there's very few. I met some lawyers and stuff like that. But even those guys, right? When you ask them, they're just like, oh, maybe I want to be married or, I want to have a child. Those kind of things, right? But for their financial growth, like, oh, I want to have this business or that business. I mean, you get that sometimes because there's like people dream about it, but it's not there, right? So when I talk to people, when I meet people and have a conversation with them, they look at me like I'm weird because I want you to think about, what you're gonna do for the next 5 years. What's your 5 year plan? Not just, oh, I want to open the store. Okay, so how? How do you want to open the store? How are you gonna get that done? What is the plan to get that done? Not just I want to. So it's the same mindset, right? And people say all the time, you have to have that positive mindset to make things positive happen in your life, right? Because if you're a negative person and just think about the worst things in people, of course you're gonna have a lot of negative shit happen to you. But you can still think positive about people, but don't be naive, right? It's the difference, right? You can still think positive about all you want about people, but you still on your P's and Q's. You know that people still people. They can smile in your face and all this stuff, and the next minute they're coming for you. So you understand, like, okay, well, we good. I love you guys, about all this stuff, but I still got my eyes on you, just in case you slip up. I got you. Guys. So we gotta take this same mindset, right, and bring it into the forefront of our investments, right? That is very important because when you sit here and look at my portfolio, and and money coming in every month, right? Every week, every day, or whatever I get paid, right? And you like, oh man, this guy, how he doing it? You know, he's so lucky. Yes, lucky. I am lucky because my mom always used to tell me, she said, "You're my luckiest child among all of your siblings, right? You just have a knack for you. You're very lucky." I never understood that when I was a kid. But as I got older, I realized like this lady's right, because there's a lot of things that happen in my life. Like sometimes it's like, man, how in the hell did I get to this point, right? Whether to hook or crook, as the people say, but how did I get here? And how did I make this possible? Sometimes I sit there and think about it, right? Right? Even getting into to engineering, getting into the computer stuff. I was in school to be an information technologist, right? Because my mom wanted me to be a pharmacist, and that wasn't in the plans. But somewhere down the line, I was talking to a friend. He's like, "I'm going to this training. You should come. You would do pretty good at this, right?" And I went to that training, and within 3 to 6 months, I was done working in a nursing home. I was done with, you know, studying information technology. I mean, to be working in the laboratory, I was done with that, right? And 20 some plus years later, I've transitioned from being an engineer to cybersecurity. Now, back then, they didn't call that stuff security. It was just networking or engineering or whatever, right? But I was managing firewalls, building firewalls, checkpoint firewalls for the government, doing all that stuff. And when that, you know, stuff came out, everybody want to be security people, right? And even the company that I work for, they wouldn't hire us. They wouldn't hire us. I hope you guys get it, right? There was like the racist thing going on, right? They won't hire me that have the hands-on experience, that finding issues in our infrastructure and letting the engineer know, because I already taken all the training, so I know what I'm looking at. And say, okay, this is the problem. You guys need to fix this, right? And then they're like, oh, okay, Edwin, thank you. And then when the job come open and I apply for the job, they're like, no, you don't have the experience. But they hired a white man from another company that was doing help desk. Now I'm a desktop engineer. I'm doing all of the infrastructure stuff, pushing out all the patching for, handling all of our security in the back end. But I didn't have no experience. But they hired somebody who answered the phone and said, okay, well, let me assign this ticket to this person to fix it. And that's the stuff. And after that, I was like, you know what? It's time for me to get out of here. And that was the best thing I ever done in my life, right? Because if I didn't do that, I'd probably still be in that same role today, right? Being a desktop engineer, instead of leaving that company, going to a smaller company, right? While I manage infrastructure, routers, switches for other mid-sized company, right? For a year or so, and then coming back, going to work for AT&T. At the time, they called Yellow Pages, right? There was a part of AT&T for the Yellow Pages. Worked for those guys for a couple of years, managing the endpoint security stuff, and it just flow, right? But sometimes when stuff happens, right, you can be doing something. Somebody's saying this video of me, you're like, who is this dude over here? What the hell is he talking about? Oh, he one of them passable, bro. Man, I don't want to watch no passable, bro. What are you talking about? Women and stuff like that? Because that's the mindset people have. That negative mindset, that negative connotation that if you're a passable, bro, you're broke, you're begging for money, all this other stuff, right? Until you like, okay, let's forget about the name. right? Let's forget about the passport, bro. Let's look at the dividend part. What's a dividend? What is a dividend? Right? What is a dividend passport, bro? Look up dividend. What's the word dividend? What does it mean? Oh, so he's talking about getting money and not doing anything. Is that what he's talking about? Maybe he's talking about something that I need to listen to because I want to be able to do nothing every day and get paid. Like I was talking to you guys the other day, right? I'll bring this back over here. Every day, I'm making this video right now. This is the amount today. It could be less, it could be more. As I'm making this video right now, for every hour that I make this video, I'm getting $49.47. And this is coming from my investment. This is coming from my investment, right? So whether I do this or not, I will make that $49.47. And in the course of the day, right? In the course of the day, I'm going to generate $1,000 plus a day for doing nothing. For doing not a single thing, I'm going to generate $1,000 plus. Now, we can say safely that, okay, well, this is close to what I make now because, right, when we did the calculation, I took this out too. When we did the calculation on how much money I've made so far this month, right, with one more week left, let's go to the bottom, $23,000. So I'm about $7,000 away from making that 30,000 plus. I don't think we're gonna do it. I don't think that we're gonna make that much this month. But even if I don't make that much, even if I don't make that 30,000, I make enough money that I don't even have to work my 6-figure job. I make more money than I make on my 6-figure job after taxes and everything else, right? And all I do, like I tell you guys, pay attention to your portfolio. And people are like, oh, I tell my clients not to pay attention to their portfolio. Yeah, if I'm investing SUSD, I got my money SUSD, VYM, and some of those other technologies, investments. Yeah, I don't have to worry about it. I'll let it sit there every 3 or 4 months and check it. But if you have money, if your portfolio is not on drip, right, which is is automatically reinvest when the dividend come in. If it's not, and if you're not monitoring your portfolio every day, how do you know when the market goes down, when things are at a discount for you to buy? If you're not monitoring your portfolio, if you do have the money to buy, right? How do you know? Because as a dividend investor, right, whenever I buy something, that increases my income. So every time I spend money, because I'm spending money, I got over $400,000+ invested into my portfolio, generate me over $400,000 a year. Now, a lot of those are extreme high yield, yes. They go up and down, yes. But I always tell you guys, have other positions in the back end that you're investing into also that's generating those $100, $200 a month. So when that renter decide to move out, you still have stuff covered. You still have your actual living expenses covered. That's the main reason why I say invest in the lower yields for the amount that you need every month. And then the icing on the cake is those extreme high yields, I call them, that pay you that a lot of money every month, 80%, 90%, 100-something% of what you're investing. Because when that percentage drop, it does not affect you, right? Like I tell you guys, if it wasn't for margins, my portfolio wouldn't be as fat as it is right now. But also, if it wasn't for margins, I will be putting money back into my portfolio. All my dividend that come in will be reinvested. So as my portfolio goes down, it will still go up because I will be reinvesting that money into the portfolio as the market goes down. Because I'm not selling nothing if I don't need to. except the positions are going to where they're going to do a split or something, I'm not selling. And if they're going to do a split to the point where it's not going, where it's going to affect me, at some point I'll let it do a split, and then I'll sell, right? Because either way, you're going to lose money. So, and if it does, we'll put the money into something else. This is not I'm not in love with anything. This is about income. This is about me and my livelihood, right? And when we get to $5-6 million a year in income, do you think I'm going to have a lot of my money still investing into high yield dividends? No. We're going to shift. We're shifting the richer we get, the more we're shifting back into the lower yield. It's common freaking sense, guys. We're going to change the risk level. We're going to pull money out, put it into real estate, right? Increase our net worth. Like I'm telling you guys, my number is 5 million, right? Which I know, God willing, if I can still healthy and continue to do what I'm doing, within 5 years, I will surpass that. The number shows it. The number shows it right there. Okay? Within 5 years, I will surpass that. Okay? I will have, where's my whatchamajigger? There we go. I'm looking in the wrong place. Within 5 years, okay, I will have 5 million in my portfolio. But I'm not just talking about my portfolio, I'm talking about my net worth. So I want in 5 years, I want my entire net worth. That means everything I own minus the debt to be 5 million. Now, based on the estimate of my portfolio, within 5 years, I will have 5 million in the market, in different portfolios, right? And this right here, like I tell you guys all the time, this does not include my retirement portfolio. This does not include my Roth. This does not include 401k from the job. I don't put that money here because I can't live off that money today, right? At some point, I was even thinking, I was like, man, I need to take a loan or sell some of my positions and move that money from the 401k. But I have to pay taxes on those, except the money that I put in over the last 5 years, right? I could take that out without paying the penalty. Because this investment, it's going to pay me more money than that investment. But that Roth, right, is still going to generate me 12 to 20 grand a year, just that 100 grand. So when I hit 59 and a half, that's an additional $20,000 a year that I'm going to be spending because I have some high yield stuff in my Roth, right? I got some extreme high yield stuff in my Roth that's generating income, and we take that income and put it into the lower yield stuff. And when the values drop, we'll rebuy. Guys, this is no game. This is no game. This is a business for me because this is how I look at it. Okay? All these dollars, these are my employees. Okay, in this case, right? I have 500 plus of them that's generating me income. And we're not going to say, okay, well, you know what? We're going to just sit there and let this stuff go. Why would I do that? We planted the seed. The seed is growing. It's bearing fruit, right? No matter what is going on, it's bearing fruit, right? It might not bear 60,000 mangoes, fruits, right? Mango fruits, not the other mango. But it's generating 30,000 mangoes from 50,000 mangoes. Okay, am I going to say, you know what? I'm going to cut this tree down because it's generating 28,000 mangoes now from where it was generating 40-something thousand mangoes per month? No. We're going to nourish the tree, right? Giving more fertilizer, which in our case, reinvesting back into the portfolio, growing the portfolio more. Like I told you guys, right? I'm generating 3 times my income, but I also got my child in university. I need to pay her tuition. I don't want to take that money out of my pocket. So that money coming out of the portfolio. And when she's finished school, by the time her sister gets to her age to go to university, right? I'm trying to get her into private school now. When she get old enough for, which I think in Colombia is 3 years old, they can go to school. I'm trying to get her into a private school here, and it's compared to the U.S. it's peanuts, but still, it's still a lot of money for here, right? I think it's like a couple $100 a month, some stuff like that, if I'm not mistaken. If that, it's still peanuts compared to paying kids in private school in the U.S. What are you spending? Like you're spending for the kids to go to university, 20, 30 grand for private school in my neighborhood, right? I think that's crazy, but it is what it is. These families want the best for the kids, so to put the kids in a situation where they can grow, they can be successful. So now I'm in a situation where my children can be successful, they can grow. So why not give them that? Because they see it's like, okay, dad is doing this and that is okay. Right? And my young daughter, right, by the time she gets to 16 years old, she will already be a millionaire. Right? Because I already started investing for her earlier than I did her sisters. And the second one from the bottom, if she listened to me, by the time she get out of school, she will be close to having her own money, to where that lawyer job she keep talking about, the money that she's gonna get from dividend will be more than what she would get just from working as an attorney. Because by the time she's 25 years old, she will already be finishing with law school, right? Because she's not even 20. She's not even 20 years old yet. She'll be 20 in November, and she'll already be doing her second semester, second year in school by that time. And if she decides to go to summer school, like I've been trying to tell her, that will cut her schooling down even more faster for her to get to that law school. But guys, this is my life. So I tell you guys about my life, what's going on in my life, how I'm doing things, why I'm doing things, so you guys can think for yourself, right? I don't do this to brag. It's not about me bragging. But I tell you, I give you information so you can think. If you're not already doing that, you can put that in place. It doesn't cost much to start these things. $100 here, $100 there. You can go out on one date if you're single in the U.S. and spend $300-400. Just one date. $300-400 here. I can go on 5 dates. And that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Right? I can go breakfast, lunch, and dinner for that $300-400. Maybe I can do 3 dates, depending on where I go. Right? Let's say I'm spending $100 a month, a day. It's possible if I go breakfast, lunch, and dinner in a nice restaurant, or if I just do lunch and dinner, I can spend about $100 a day. With me and somebody else, we go into a nice place to eat lunch, and we go to a nice place to have dinner. I can spend about, like last night, I went to dinner, a nice restaurant, right? 2 drinks and meal. It was less than $35. No, I take that back. It was almost $50. It was close to $50. I think it was like $40, $42, $43 for 2 people. And that's dinner in a 5-star restaurant. Okay. And most of the five-star restaurants I go to, especially in the area where there's not just catering to tourism, the cost is like that. Now, if I go somewhere where it's more of a touristy type place, I might spend $60 for dinner with a drink for two people, or a couple of maybe three drinks, depending on what you have. Right? It would be that much, $60. So life outside the U.S., food, good food, right? It costs less. Go on dates, it costs less, right? And people are like, Edwin, why you care when you got $1 million in the bank? I don't have $1 million in the bank. I don't have $1 million in the bank, right? I don't even have $2,000 in the bank. I don't keep money in my bank account like that, right? Because I want my money making money for me. And if it is in a bank account, it's in a bank account yielding at least 4%. And other than that, I don't keep money in the bank. My money is in the market. It's invested. It's making money for me, right? If I need to spend something immediately, I pull a credit card up and pay and put it on there and pay in a couple of weeks. I'll pay in a couple of days and get my points. Guys, I say it all the time, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, because we thinking from a mindset of to be a consumer, right? That's what we're thinking about. I got a nice purse as for a woman. The guy got a nice watch, right? This is a band for this apartment. I got to wear this stupid stuff. I got a nice belt. I'm wearing a $300-400 belt. I'm wearing a $600 Gucci shoes or $1,000 Gucci shoes, right? What else? What else we spend money on? I'm driving a $200,000 car, right? To each his own, right? I got a $50,000 Tesla sitting in my garage that I haven't driven in 3 months. And before, when I bought it, it sat in my garage for 2 months. Then I drove it for 3 months. So I have that car, 6 months, 7, 8 months now. And out of the 7, 8 months, 9 months, almost 9 months I had that car, I've only driven that car for 2.5 months, really. And the rest of the time, it's sitting in the garage because I travel a lot. So when I checked the mileage on my car after the last time I was there, I think I put 3,000 miles on the car. I think it was 3,000. The only reason that I drove the car out of state twice. I drove it to Nashville a couple of times, to Chattanooga a couple of times, because the car is fast, and I can go from Atlanta to Chattanooga on the full charge. I got a long range. I got a long range Tesla. My nephew said, Uncle Edwin, how do you drive your Tesla from here to Chattanooga and from here to Nashville on one charge? And when I rented a Tesla, I had to charge that thing every 100 so miles. I said, because you got a short range. Your Tesla is a short range. It go 100 something miles, you got to charge it. My Tesla go up to close to 300 something miles, 320 something miles, I believe. I'm about 200 something miles or whatever it is, before I have to charge it. And even though I don't even charge it 100%, I charge it up to 80%. And if I have to travel sometime, I would charge it 90%. They said don't do 100 because I can mess up the battery. But when I go out of town, I might charge it up to 100, 90%, right? And I will get to where I'm going. At some point, if we're going to stop and eat on the road, and I know the distance where I'm going, then I would just leave it at 80, because when I stop to eat, I'm going to stop in a place that have a supercharger, and I would charge my car, and that would be like $12 to charge my car where I go to eat. And at 30 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever long it would take to charge the car, I'm eating. People was like, well, that's time I can be in and out in a gas station. Well, yes, you can go in a gas station. I fill my Mercedes. Now, I put regular in my Mercedes because it's old. But if I was driving a brand new Mercedes, I have to put premium gas in there. Premium gas is like almost $3. I don't know what gas price is now, because I've been gone for 3+ months. I don't know what gas price is in the US. I have no idea. But I'm just assuming it's about $3 and something in Atlanta. I don't know what it is in the rest of the US. I don't know what it is in the rest of the world. I buy gas out here, but they sell gas by the liter. So I can put gas in my car, um, and spend maybe $25 and fill up my car here. And I drive my car all over Colombia. So those are the kind of things that we have to deal with, guys. So as you build generational wealth, you understand the value of your dollar, the value of your money, right? Because before, especially when you travel out of the country, right, you change the dollars to pesos, right? And somebody tell you the price of something, you just count the money and give it to them. You just count the money and give it to them. Now, for every 100,000 pesos, that's about $25. So if I spend 50,000 pesos, 200,000 pesos, that's $50. If I spend 400, that's $100. So that's how I look at it. So between 25, so if I spend every 20,000 pesos, it's $5. All right, this just is it. I mean, the rate go up and down, but I just keep that at that figure, right? So guys, it is your money. If you don't respect your money and pay attention to your money, somebody else will pay attention to your money for you, but they don't have your best intention. They don't have the best intention at heart for your money. They're thinking about ways to spend your money, right? You know how you meet a woman, she's like, "Oh, baby, you gonna take me on a shopping spree?" Right? It's stuff you work hard for. It's stuff you work hard for, right? You work in 80, 90 hours to make this money, right? And you take a woman shopping, and she's not gonna go to the thrift store or whatever else. No, she wanna go to the nice, this Gucci. Now, I'm not talking about every woman, right? I'm not talking about that. But the ones that came in a full Gucci or spell Gucci, they want to go to the Gucci store and get a pair of, what do you call it, gown, bathrobe, right? That's like $600. But they don't even make $600 a week from their job. That's a complete disrespect. Because if you value me, you will value my money. If you value me, you will value my money. Don't just value me because of what I do for you. Value me just as a person. And then whatever else I do is a bonus. Okay, guys. So we're talking about life. And money is a tool that make your life a lot easier. It doesn't make you happy. It doesn't buy happiness. People say money don't buy happiness. But it sure help. Right? And they say money don't buy love. But do it for a time, for a period of time. Oh my days, guys! You know what? I know I've been on the road the last few days. I don't know. Maybe it's the air I had in Santa Marta. It just keeps me. It keeps me more happier. I'm more relaxed. I'm stress free. I'm looking forward to spending time with my daughter at the end of the month. If it doesn't happen, I'll go back to US and I might go to Asia for a month. Maybe I go to Africa for a few weeks, a week or so. And he's like, but it doesn't matter because when you have the tools, right? There's tools right here. This is a tool. This $28,000 a month is a tool. And it makes life a lot bearable, right? If you don't have money, you can't travel. If you don't have money, you can't travel. If you don't have money, you can have nice clothes. You can have nice things, right? You can have nice things and be broke. Yes, there's plenty of people out there that have nice cars, that wear nice clothes, but they're living off of credit cards. They don't have anything in the bank. They don't have any investments. They don't even know what a net worth is, right? They don't even know that. They don't even understand what that is. But if you're watching this channel, if you're watching at any point, if you watch 2 or 3 of my videos, or even 7 of videos, and especially the weekend review videos, right, and the income videos, you know I talk about being your net worth and all that stuff all the time. So if you got common sense, somebody talking about stuff you don't know, you go look it up. Like, what the hell is he talking about? Right? Because that's important to you too. How do you build something and you don't know what it is? You're like, I want to build a 3-bedroom house, but you don't have a design. You don't have a design in your head. You haven't drawn nothing on a piece of paper. You have no idea. So, like the guy, like the trying to build a house in Dominican Republic. So I found a nice design. So I sent it to the lady. I said, okay, when the people come to build, to clean the land, to do the foundation, let them look at this design and measure accordingly to fit the land. She said, okay. Now, when the guy gets there, she showed him the design. He said, does the design come with the square footage or the meters? And then she told me, do you have this design, the square foot meter? I said, if I did, I would have given it to you. I said, but what you can do, if he can't do that, then you need to find somebody who can look at this design and measure it based on the size of the lot and give you something similar to go on the land. Oh, okay. It's like I can give you something to get you started, but I can't do everything for you. You gotta be able to think outside the box. Use your own brain power, right? And it's just that. It's like a lot of places out here in South America and in the islands. Okay, guys. I'm almost getting to an hour. I'm gonna stop this video here. Guys, remember, I do this out of love. I don't do this to brag, but I know at some point it might seem like, oh, Edwin, all he's talking about is yes, because Edwin, this is Edwin's channel. Edwin talk about what Edwin's doing, and I keep telling you guys to get some folks out here, right, to talk about their portfolio. Uh-oh, the camera just went out, and the camera went back on. So I know the camera is black right now. I've been having issues with this camera. It's black. It's just black. Okay, but we're gonna have some people on here. And I love you guys. We're gonna do this tomorrow. Maybe I need a new camera. I don't know. I need a new camera. I think I need a new camera. But I love you guys. And we're gonna do this tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow the market can do good and we can make some money and continue to grow. Okay, guys. Peace, love. We'll see you guys tomorrow.